There's no doubt about it. We fear rain. We wear our trench coats and umbrellas and all that to avoid getting hit by some lousy droplets of water. But what is it that makes us fear it? It's not something we learned, it's something deep that resonates within us, an unexplainable repulsion towards getting ourselves wet during a downpour. It is not a learned fear, it's instinctive. Instinct. A small word for such a huge idea. I've lived in the countryside for 4 months now, and I'm now back in the city. The neighbors used to tell me to nail the windows shut for about 2 to 3 weeks right after I started living there. But it was the beginning of the summer, and with it all the heat of the sun, I wasn't gonna do something as stupid as that. At least, I thought it was stupid. You know that smell? That one that rises just before the rain starts to fall on you? In the city, people will say it's the smell of watered earth, of the dirt getting wet, of bacteria, and plants receiving the rain. But people have never been in the country. They haven't the faintest idea. You see, the city, the cities, the huge metropolis has not always been there. Mankind has been living in nature far more than it has been living in cities. This is why we still have the instinct to fear rain. It is not the smell of earth, dirt, bacteria, plants. It's their smell. They come out in the rain and they seek to mate. But they cannot hold their own, for they must retreat hastily, as soon as the rain gives in and the water stops. I didn't nail my windows shut, and as soon as the rain came, I started hearing it. Have you ever heard the tiny, almost unnoticeable hum or high pitch that TVs make when they are turned on? Have you ever felt a pressure on your chest when a low pitched beat is heard? Those are the things that fill the air. That smell and those moans, high and low thumping moans. It's the smell they follow. I came home a bit wet, for the rain started on my way home. I started hearing those noises sometime after I entered my house. Then the scratching at my door began. I went to check it through the window, and what I saw was horrible. What at first looked like a giant worm was in fact a humanoid thing, with its lower part being one long leg or tail. Its small anthropoid arms were strong enough to allow them to crawl, slither, and its face, it looked like it had been petrified. The only thing that looked like it was in use was its nose. It moved, and as soon as I got close to the window, its face shifted towards me. The window was slightly open, and I know it turned because it could smell me. I moved towards the window, but it wasn't strong enough to pull itself up inside, and I had enough time to close the window. Soon enough, it turned, trying to sense the smell, my odor. After a while, more came. From the hills came an entire legion of those things, 300, 400, maybe. Thoughts of monkeys running up towards highest rocks and climbing trees came to my mind. These are the things we feared since the dawn of time. After a while, the macabre sight became something I couldn't stand. The noise was so much I couldn't sleep. And the things were so ugly and disgusting, yet I could not stop watching. Soon, I saw an old stray dog that always wandered around. It was a dirty dog. It must have been 15 years old. Too old to run, too old to live. They grabbed a hold of its paws. 1, 2, 3, 5. This dog started howling and tried to bite one, and then the other. Soon, they overpowered the poor animal, and then it happened. From their chests came out a sting. 1, 2, 3, 5. And they all started stinging the poor beast. After that, they turned to see towards the east. Then they started crawling, as fast as they could, towards the plains. They disappeared as fast as they came. The dog lay motionless. It seemed like parts of him breathed, at intervals. At intervals, parts of his body pulsated. Then suddenly, the dog jumped on to his fours and looked renewed. It started running like it was a young pup. Then it went running towards the plains and disappeared from my sight. When morning broke, I took nails and wood planks and nailed my windows shut. Not even one hole was left. I even checked for other holes in the wall, the door. God, I was starting to get paranoid. I left the house to get some groceries from the neighbors. They had their own farm and had a lot of things for sale. We're talking farms here. The distance I had to travel was about a mile or two to their house. When I got there, black mist and clouds were near. The neighbors were cold and quick. They gave me eggs, milk, some honey, and meat, but told me if I wanted to live, I should stay for the night. I remembered last night, but I still hadn't made the connection of rains and monsters, so I can decline the offer and hurried back, while the farmer, behind me, yelled I should stay if I valued my life. The rain started midway towards my house. I was wet within the first 10 seconds of rain. It was a real downpour. I felt the smell of rain once more, and then I heard the sounds once again. The high-pitched noise, the low-pitched thumping. I wet my pants when I saw the first of those things crawling towards me, its nose like a black eye moving towards me. I dropped what I was carrying and ran for my life. Even though they crawled, they were pretty fast. I was beginning to lose my breath when suddenly, once again, the image of monkeys climbing trees came to me. I had remembered. It could not lift itself through my window. I realized I had a small hope for surviving this, but I had some hope. While I was running, I turned to see left and right. All I needed was something above the ground, something they couldn't climb up to. The farmer's barn! I could see he left his old wooden ladder on the side of it. All I had to do was set it up, climb it, and then raise it so they could not follow. It was heavier than I thought, but I was truly terrified of what would happen if I didn't raise it. When I put it in place, one of those things, faster than those of its kind, tried to stab me with a sting. I could see it like it was in slow motion. I grabbed the sting with both hands, while the thing kept trying to nail me with it. An egg came out of it. While I kept it away from me, I pushed the thing to the side, and the egg fell to the ground. It started to move and pulsate, but then it stopped. The exterior turned to stone. As soon as I saw what happened, I heard the clamor of those things, stronger and more penetrating than ever. I saw that the one thing that was trying to stab me was now writhing like it was in pain. I didn't hesitate for 1 minute. I felt rage with me, so I started to kick it, and then I stomped its head in. I ran up to the ladder, and then I raised it towards me, up on the barn's roof. I don't know how I managed to, but I fell asleep. The next morning, I was woken by the farmer's wife, yelling at me. She kept asking why I was there. I put the ladder down. I put the ladder, went down, and found a little stone ball and a skeleton adult with its skull bashed in. Why had I never seen those things until now? Why did this only happen only in a place like this? It all came to me. The egg, the rain, the smell of wet people. What about those flashes in my mind? Those memories of time long gone? The people around here, the environment around here, it's all very much like the one it was some thousands of years ago. The only thing that thing around here that's changed are the houses. It's the only new thing. And those memories of the past came to me because this thing, it's a primal fear. We have been running from the rain and water for so long, even when we were unevolved chimps, we ran from it, and ran from the ground as well. I left that place as quickly as I could. I only spent one more night in those plains. I heard those screams and thumps. This time, they came from for my house, and my aroma alone. I had killed one of their eggs. I knew it was because of this. How else could one explain all the ruckus that happened when the infected dog dropped the egg? The beat on the door, they slammed their bodies against it. They kept moaning and scratching, hitting and weeping, smelling my fear. However, the rain stopped quickly, and they ran away. I am now writing this because I am scared of them. I came back to the city, but maybe I should have let them take me. Instead, I brought this plague with me, back to the city. They are on the other side of my door. It's raining outside. It has been for a long time. Because even now, even though we don't know about them, deep inside, we still fear them. Oh God, the rain won't stop. It's been 3 days and I'm beginning to lose it. They claw the door, and I don't know how much more it will resist. They are taking it down. They can smell my fear.